Hey guys, haven't made a video in a really long time. Just kind of going, keeping more to myself, and but things are going good. I just want to make a little 2022 going into 2023 video. It's been a pretty crazy year, been a really discouraging year in a lot of ways. Um, I was at work yesterday, and one of my patients is like saying stuff about how Biden was doing a good job, and it just kind of triggered me a little bit because it's just so upsetting, the fact of what they've done. And I was kind of disappointed with myself more than anything, because I felt like I shouldn't get so upset or get so triggered by stuff. But I think it's important don't be too hard on ourselves, because it's like when you suffered a trauma, which we suffered a collective trauma, really, with the whole situation this last while, and things you can't even talk about, because the you can't even say words anymore. It's just like, that's one of the reasons I kind of been shying away from making videos, is you can't even say anything, and you can't even say anything. And it's been interesting watching Twitter since Elon Musk has taken over. It's been very, very interesting. I'm at a position where I am, like most of you, I'm sure you're just like, okay, I'm not gonna put myself out there, and I don't trust anybody. That's where I come down. I trust nobody, and it's, I guess it's just a way to protect yourself. It's in these times, because everything seems to be flipping and switching so fast, and good guys become bad guys become good guys. I mean, it's just total mayhem out there. And so I've been doing my practice. You all know I do heartfulness / Sahaj Marg. It's actually Sahaj Marg / heartfulness. I've been following Paul Romero. He posts videos on Pockets of the Future, but he's got this journey series that he does, and he's been talking a lot about basically the fall of heartfulness. How dodgy he's the fourth president of the system, and how he's kind of just screwing things up. And I personally, I don't care. In a lot of ways, I don't care, because when I started doing heartfulness, I actually just kind of kept to myself as much as possible. I got a trainer, online, and connected with him, and he gave me individual sittings, which are like meditations, cleaning meditation specifically, and I did that for a while, and it's really great. And I do the daily. Dallas Fort Worth has a group on the WhatsApp app, and they connect and do a noon meditation every day. And so sometimes I do that, but other than that, I really don't have any connection with heartfulness or that. So I'm not that upset about anything. Paul, he has more of a deep connection, and was really into it, and went to a lot of the group things. And so for me, I really don't care. So it hasn't been that hasn't been as traumatic to me. But if you ever get a chance to follow Paul on the Pockets of the Future, he's got some really good stuff about the heartfulness movement, and just the shenanigans that are going on. And it's kind of interesting to see, this. It's like a movement that turns into a religion, right? And I saw it. I did the TM. I did Transcendental Meditation from 1991 until I think it was 2017. I did heartfulness and stopped doing TM. But I had done TM. No, my dog's digging in an ant pile. I had done the TM and the TM Cities program for years. So for me to switch was kind of it's kind of a big deal. But the heartfulness is fantastic, and it started out fantastic. But that's not really what I want to make this video about. But I would encourage anybody to do it. even though things may not be perfect, there's stuff going on, and if you follow Paul, he goes into detail. The transmission itself, the practice itself, is really amazing and powerful. So I'm going to leave you with that. And then what I really wanted to talk about was how I was listening to this. People got these predictions, 2023 predictions, and they had this guy who's I watched a Jeff Mara podcast, and he interviews a lot of people near-death experiences mostly, but he was interviewing this guy who does, he's like a reader, psychic, been doing it for a really long time. He's up in Canada, and he was, making all these predictions and, stuff like Trump's going to get arrested and there's going to be a nuclear event and things like that. And I've heard similar things for a while. We've been hearing that for a while, those things. But what I thought was interesting about it is what popped into my head while I was listening to this guy was, what if these, I call them the system controllers, or, the deep state, what if they were implanting, what if they were able to implant these things into the, what do you call it, the consciousness, but the etheric. What if they were able to put these items in the etheric for these psychics to pick up and broadcast that out to people as predictions, but actually it serves as like a predictive programming? Because I believe the elites, they want this nuclear event. This was part of their plan, just like COVID was part of their plan. This is part of their plan. The stuff you see in China is part of their plan, using social credit system and things like that. That's been part of their plan. I mean, this is not new information. David Icke talked about this stuff. I read David Icke's books 2007, 2008, around that time, and he was talking all about all of this stuff. The rise of the police state and how they were centralizing these governments and centralizing the currencies, and how they're, consolidating power, and how they're going to, have these false flag events, and just to, rein in more control over humanity. I mean, he's been talking about that stuff forever. So it's not like it's new information, really. It seems like it's new, but it's not beyond comprehension to think that these agencies who, we know about, like the MK Ultra, how it came from the Nazis. I was telling somebody the other day about, I said, they brought over all these Nazi scientists and they started NASA and, the space program. Von Braun was, he built the V2 rocket and that. So it wouldn't be that much of a stretch of the imagination. They also brought over the scientists that did the mind control projects, that did the human projects. My dog's zooming all over. Oh my God, he's just going crazy. So it's not that much of a stretch to think that they also recruited those individuals too, those scientists that were doing those experiments. They're not going to let that stuff get out. And it's already been shown that the government's been involved with, all kinds of secret programs involving, mind control and social engineering and all kinds of stuff. So it's not, to me, it's not that much of a leap to think that, could they put this stuff in that, out there for these so-called psychics, the weak ones, the ones who aren't really connected to spirit, who aren't really connected to source, and they're just grabbing this information. It's like a bookshelf, They just stick the books on the bookshelf, and these psychics are grabbing the books off the bookshelf. It's a low level connection, right? I mean, ultimately, the highest level would be connections directly to source, which is what Sahaj Marg teaches. The teachings of Sahaj Marg are to directly connect you to source consciousness. and the highest level that there is. And so anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, we got all these predictions this time of year, and there's just, it can be a little bit frustrating. Oh, and then what I wanted to say off of that is, when they put this predictive programming out there, they're using our consciousness. It's like they're slaving our consciousness into this channel, and it's creating a reality, because we have the power to create reality. This is something that these higher, or they're not higher, they're lower actually, but these higher ups, these corrupt people, the you know, what they call the controllers, they know this information. They know that we create reality, we create consciousness. I mean, that's what Satanism is all about. Satanism is about, you know, basically worshiping the material world. Sorry, of course there's an ambulance, something going by. Satanism is all about controlling the relative, you know. It's all about material gain, material control. I mean, when Jesus was, you know, had fasted in the desert, when he had gone in the desert, and the devil, you know, tempted him at the end and said, you know, I'll give you everything. You can have anything you want. It's all yours. You'll have domain over this reality. And that's because that's all they control. They control this physical 3D experience. Is you know, it's being held and controlled, and that's what's happening right now. Is this is the breakout from that. But right after I got this when I was watching this video of this guy making predictions, I had a dream, and in the dream it was like telling me how powerful we are, and how powerful our mind is, and how we can actually create reality with our mind. And I think that's something really important to remember. I mean, we hear it all the time, and the New Age movement's kind of co-opted all that, and, you know, people are like trying to manifest parking spots and stuff like that. It's just super low level. It's actually kind of a form of the satanic, you know, it's kind of along the lines of the Satanism. So it's kind of interesting, right? I mean, that the New Age stuff could actually just be an extension of this materialistic, you know, this creating abundance, and creating all this physical comforts and physical wealth and all this stuff. You know, it's like in Sahaj Marg, you know, they say it's like two wings of a bird. You have to have the two wings of the bird to fly, the material and the spiritual. You can't just have one without the other. But you don't want to put too much. If you put too much emphasis on the material, you go down. If you put too much emphasis on the spiritual, you're not able to ground in reality. You're not able to, you know, pay the bills and pay your taxes and feed your family. So there's a balance that has to be held there. And anyway, I thought it was an interesting observation. I hope y'all have a great year. I hope it's a good year for you. Just, I don't know, focus inward, focus on God. Try not to get too distracted out in the relative. It's so crazy. I'm guilty of it. I've got a big tuition bill to pay for my daughter. I'm working overtime. The hospital's busy. It's just, you know, it's stressful and hard. And so, but, you know, really the answer is just to persevere, hang in there, have endurance, ride it out, be strong, be tough, build your body, do whatever you need to do to build your body physically and mentally and spiritually, and everything will work out from there. All right, you guys have a great new start to your new year, and let's just put out some good vibes, and let's create our reality. Let's start taking responsibility for that. All right, take care.